What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, today's the day, I guess. Xbox announced the 4 games that are going to Switch and PlayStation 5. I was wishing it wouldn't go to PlayStation 5, but still, it's all right. More money, and all that good stuff, right? So it is the games that we thought: Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. March 19th, I think, for PS5. I don't know the other. I think in March, basically, most of them. Anyway, so I was looking on Twitter, Zitter, whatever you want to call it, and I'm looking at the rhetoric. I'm looking at the talk. I'm looking at the narrative. And so the Ponies and the Donkey Unicorns are still up. I told y'all, Xbox is going third party. Yet and still, they ignore what their president said, their CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Hiroki, whatever, different, I don't know. And PlayStation is going third party as well. Now, the thing about PlayStation, I know this is kind of worn footage, worn words, but if you've noticed the history of PlayStation and in relation to Xbox and strategy, they're always behind. They're always lagging behind. They lagged behind in the games of service for, I would say, a generation, because Xbox started this. I mean, they started it back when Xbox Live, not so much. I mean, it was the 360 era when they really started it. But really and truly, when Phil Spencer took office in 2014, that's when you saw the stuff happen. That's when Minecraft jumped off and all that. You get the realms, you get the servers, games of service, right? Super successful, best-selling game in video games. Which game is that? What game? It's not a Sony game. That's my point. So Sony is like 10 years behind when it comes to this games of service. They have one game that's not really there. They didn't make it. They paid to make it. It seems like a little thread with them. It seems like a common occurrence where Sony pays someone else to make a good game. Sony takes all the credit. Helldivers 2 is the first one, right? And now, as far as Sony as a whole company, they're doing that with their movies too. The Marvel movies that Sony pays for, meaning the Spider-Man Home series, Homecoming, and Far From Home, and Home Alone, and all those other ones, the Tom Holland joints. Sony didn't make those. Marvel made those. Kevin Feige made those, and Sony paid them to make them. That's how that worked. So there's a trend. You see it happening? Now, the Spider-Verse movies. Sony hired Lord and Miller, or one of these two, maybe Lord or Miller. I don't remember which one it was. But they hired them. They haven't made a bad movie yet. That's not an in-house type of Sony person. I mean, I don't know how it works on the movie side, to be honest, when it comes to that stuff. Like, I don't know if Lord and Miller is their own. I mean, I'm sure they have their own production company, or, well, they're writers and directors anyway. But the point is, it's not like a in-house Sony type of thing. Okay, I'll admit that's a little different with movies, because, you just hire directors and stuff like that. But there is an association with certain directors and certain production companies, if they have their own production companies, and certain distributors like Universal or Paramount. Steven Spielberg has always historically used Paramount. All the Indiana Jones movies are Paramount. And he has his own production company, Amblin Entertainment, with the little ET. So, there's that. But anyway, back to video games. These Donkey Unicorns and the Ponies, they're not speaking the whole truth. They're only mentioning the things that suit their need and feed their softened, weakened state. Because if they look closely, they see that Sony is literally doing, the day before the meeting, Sony literally said, yeah, we're going to do the same thing. And just because they said, oh, it's just going to be PlayStation. I mean, it's just going to be PlayStation and PC, right? And then a whole bunch of people went out and said, oh, y'all read that wrong, and he meant to say and not Xbox and Switch, right? And then I saw another quote from the guy, the CEO, saying PC, you know, PlayStation, PC, and other platforms. And I'm like, hold up, was that somebody reporting on it, or was that him? It was in quotes, but I'm not sure who the quote was. But let's say it was the CEO. What's going on here? Why is the message so unclear? Because they don't want it to be clear. They don't want him to say other platforms, inferring or, you know, possibly looking over to Switch and Xbox. Because what does it do? It destroys their narrative once again. It's already destroyed anyway, because day and date on PC, that destroys a big chunk of what made PlayStation special. PlayStation is so good and it sells so many consoles, they don't need PC. They don't need Xbox. They don't need Switch. And then you look at the industry and it's like, okay, you keep on doing what you're doing. You keep on selling, you know, $70, $80, $150 games just to sell consoles and see where you get. You get nowhere. It's a losing proposition. And the CEOs at Sony saw that. And they're like, but Jim Ryan and whoever else was before him, Sean Layden was before him. If Sean Layden was still in office, they didn't kick him out, they didn't fire him, they didn't walk him out the building, that's messed up. I think he would have transitioned earlier and Sony wouldn't be in such a bad position right now. Now people saying, oh, Sony's not in a bad position. No, this is great for Sony. They're gonna make more money. Stop changing the narrative. Stop moving the goalposts. Either you want day and date on PC or you don't want day and date on PC, okay? There's no, oh, I don't care. No, it's not that. Because for years, let's say decades, let's say this generation and last generation, you've been making fun of Xbox for having day and date on PC, saying, oh, you don't have any exclusives, you got no games. I just gonna buy a PC. Why do I need to buy an Xbox? All the things you said in the past, Donkey Unicorns and Ponies, apply to you now. Why do I need to buy a PlayStation when I can buy a PC that runs it better and has more players? Look at Helldivers 2, more players playing it. Why would I buy a PlayStation when there's 1/20th of the players are on PlayStation versus PC? No, I'm sorry, that was wrong. I said an incorrect thing. 1/20th of the total PlayStation players are playing Helldivers 2. That's what the number is. That's even worse. What's 1/20th of 50 million? What is that? Was it 12? Let's see, 100 is 50. 50% is 25. 12.5%. I can't do that math. I can't do that math. I remember I took college algebra and I was like, what is this? It's a sickness. I'm sorry. Island gamers, real good. Anyway, yeah, it's like, yo, the moving of the goal. It's like you can see, like, Puerto Rock and all these people, they stop being hyperbolic, right? And now they're starting to accept. They're in the acceptance phase right now. They're like, look, it makes sense, guys. Yeah, look, they're gonna make more money. They have to do this. The industry is changing. Don't die on this hill. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, you know what? Look, y'all did it to yourselves. Sony did it to themselves. PlayStation did it to themselves. You Donkey Unicorns and you Ponies, you did it to yourselves by blapping and flapping your mouths. And the same thing is happening to y'all. Same thing is happening to PlayStation. PlayStation is in terrible. And not to mention just that. It's like, I mean, think about this. Like, no first party bangers for more than a year. They said it early. So I guess to set your expectations, because that's hot trash garbage. PlayStation ain't got no game. Like, we were saying that, like, making fun. They literally have no games. And my question is this: them not having a game until next year, does that save them money? Because they still have to pay these people a whole year of making a game, multiple games, I would assume, unless they're going to cancel a bunch of games and fire some people, which I am going to I'm going to predict that Sony's going to have some firings soon. Sony's going to fire some PlayStation's peoples. I don't know if they're going to fire any other people around. I mean, probably. Sony's a sizable corporation. Not as big as Microsoft, but obviously. But, you know, I think they'll let go some of the, you know, the weakers. The weakers. I don't know how they would do. Like, you know, they made so many mistakes this generation and at the end of last generation. When they closed down Japan studios, I'm like, what are you doing? It literally, I can't say it right. It literally says Japan in the title of the name of the studio, Japan Studios. It's like the essence of like, yo, this is a studio, Japan. That's us. We're Sony. We're Japan. We got a studio. What's the name? The name is Japan. They destroyed it. They said, boosh. They blew it up. Psygnosis, gone. Come on. So they closed like so many nice little studios that could have been making these little A and AA games and filling in their schedule and helping them with money. But no, Sony's over here chasing these big dollars, trying to be Fortnite, trying to be Halo. We're buying Bungie for way too much. They made so many mistakes. And thank you for the, someone in the comment mentioned, they're still in court. And I don't know if they have to pay it or not. Was it $7.9 billion they had to pay or something like that? I thought it was 13, but I think it went down to 7.9 billion in the UK or something for something, something. Can't remember what it was. So they lost 10, and now they have to pay another 8. I'm like, yeah, there's going to be some massive changes over there. I'm gonna say at PlayStation, generally speaking, because this is the whole kind of impetus of this situation is PlayStation's fault. If y'all want to blame somebody for the downfall or the downgrading of Sony, your favorite electronics company, maybe, then blame Jim Ryan. He was the CEO when all this went down, when all these changes happened. And he put a big fat Band-Aid on it by increasing all the prices, but the Band-Aid, they jumped in the pool, Band-Aid came right off. It just didn't work. It slowed it down maybe a little bit, and maybe that 10 billion would have been more like, 20 billion or something like that. Who knows? Who knows how much they made off of the price increases? But still, I mean, honestly, they set the table, right? So now I would assume this. From now on, Sony is going to act more like Nintendo in this way. They will not take a loss on consoles anymore. So if they want to compete with Xbox as far as power, I don't think they can, because Xbox has the money to take a loss on consoles, right? So they will do that in order to keep that crown. They said they would never lose the power struggle anymore. And I think they might be right. Now, PlayStation is going to charge you more than what the console's worth. They're going to cost, no. They're gonna, like I said, they're going to do what Nintendo does. They're going to give you a piece of hardware, like say it's like the PS5 Pro, right? Say if the PS5 Pro is coming out this fall. What's the regular PlayStation 5 cost? $499, right? With the disc drive. Let's just say they're going to make it without the disc drive, and maybe you can get a plug-in disc drive, or it'll be a little bit different than what they have now, right? So PS5 Pro, at least, well, see, I don't know what the cost would be, but let's say that the cost of the PS5 Pro is $512. They will charge you at least $549 for it, right? They will try to charge you $600, $599. They might settle on like a $579, something like that in the middle. But they want to make money on each console. They can't take a loss on the console, not even in the beginning, not even to entice people to buy it, because that stage of what Sony was trying to do, trying to get the install base up with consoles in homes, that stage is over. They look at the numbers of PC versus PlayStation and player activity, player count, and they're like, why are we even trying to sell these stupid, goofy boxes? PC is just bringing it. PC is so many more that you notice that they haven't released any PlayStation player count numbers for Helldivers 2. You want to know why? Because nobody's playing it on PlayStation. I mean, some people are, but compared to PC, hell no. You can extrapolate from the numbers that Xbox put out, right? The Power World numbers, right? 12 million on PC, 7 million on Xbox, right? Now I'm gonna say it's probably less of a percentage on PlayStation than PC as far as Helldivers 2 goes, because it's a paid game. They have to buy that. Power World was in Game Pass, and so that's why the numbers were high, right? Some people bought it, but most people Game Pass, and that's the beauty of Game Pass, is that the day and date stuff, it subsidizes releases like that, because I said this before. Quick math, I think Xbox makes 7 billion, not 7 billion. Is it 7 billion? They make it, let's say 5 billion, just a number. They make $5 billion a year off of Game Pass. They spend 1 billion a year on, day and date games. I don't want to call them acquisitions, but putting games in the service. Paying developers, paying them what they want. All the costs that are involved in getting content onto Game Pass. $1 billion. They are making billions of dollars off of Game Pass, off of the model they have created. It's not the same for PlayStation, because PlayStation doesn't have the day and date. Yes, they have to pay people. They have to pay devs to have their games in the PS Plus, but it's not the same because developers aren't scrambling to get their games into PS Plus. You know what I'm saying? I would say it's probably the other way around. It's like, oh, Sony's probably looking for games to put in PS Plus, because you look over at Game Pass, it's like, yeah, well, we can do day and date. How much they're gonna give us right off the jump without us even selling a copy? And then they're gonna give us some points. And then, I mean, contracts are different. So, who knows what each individual contract is. But, hypothetically speaking, you could get it down. You could get it down. You could get points, and you could get probably bonuses based off of player retention and player count and blah 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 and all these things. I don't, like I said, I don't know how the terms are exactly, but it seems a little more generous, if you will, or it seems like a studio, like an indie studio, could sustain itself with just doing Game Pass deals. You could be like, all right, we're gonna get this much money. Let's say it's a small 2-man team or something like that. We could get 500,000 off the jump, Game Pass, and then after $1 million, we get, I don't know, something points off of, let's say they get 70, do a 70-30 split like the store, right? We get 70, they get 30. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I guess if there was DLC or something like that, maybe. It probably is that way, 70-30. But, and I think they may get bonuses, like I said, based off of player number and stuff. So maybe they get a little bonus if they reach 1 million player count, or if they maintain a certain number month after month, they get, bonuses. I don't know. But, stuff like that is enticing for indie devs because they have security. They don't have to be like, okay, we're going to try to make this game, and now we have to shop it over to all these publishers and and be scared. If no one wants the game and wants to put their game up, what are they going to do? They're going to self-publish and hope they sell a bunch on Steam or something? I mean, it's rough out there for indie devs. And so a place like Game Pass is very nice. And also, it's a good platform to surface those games. Every time some new stuff pops off of Game Pass, I go, newly released. I go through the game, like, what's new? Oh, that looks all right. Boop, download it. Let's go. Let's play it. Let's see what's up. But I've heard nightmares over on PlayStation, like, yo, those games are buried underburied. You can't find new games. What's that? You can't find them. They don't promote them. I mean, it's just a different mentality, And will it change? I mean, possibly, because they're looking at Xbox. They're looking at the growth. They're looking at the success of what Xbox is doing and all their services and all their kind of their different I was gonna say movements, but their different platform services. And it's like, why, with Sony having a greater install base, why aren't they doing something at least similar? And the whole thing is, like, the whole day and date stuff on PSN Plus or PS Plus, they would get so much money from subs. That's why Xbox did it. And that's why they make billions of dollars a year because they have that. The only reason why I'm really subbed to Game Pass is because of the day and date. Because it's like, look, if there's a game that I want to buy, like Starfield, if I find a physical copy out on the street, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. I got the controller. I'll get that. Maybe I'll get the headset one day. I don't know if I find it somewhere. But day and date on Game Pass is the reason why I stay subbed. Because it's like, if I do the math, and now even more than ever, it's more prevalent and more, it's more true that, let's say they release one major game every quarter, right? And that's $70, let's assume. And so it's $280. I don't pay $280 for Game Pass. Wait, do I? 10. No, I don't. Had to do the math real quick. And it's worth it. And that's what when I first got the Game Pass, I was like, well, all I need is really like 3 games and it's paid for, basically. And so, and honestly, I play more games now that I have Game Pass than I ever did before, because of a lot of indie games and all those things pop up. Older games that'll pop in, like I know I want to play Infinite Warfare when it pops in, and that's soon, because they had that graphic for that too. And so, it is worth it. People say best deal in gaming, blah blah blah, and that's cool, that's fine, and that's accepted. Everybody knows that. And now that's part of the lexicon, that's part of the general, I don't want to say the normies know this, because the normies don't even know what Game Pass is. And that's one of the things that Xbox needs to push real hard, I would say, from this point forward. I would assume, like, especially when there is a Call of Duty commercial, it's going to be an Xbox stamp on it, and it's going to be like, play it day one on Game Pass. They need to put that on every Call of Duty game. Do a deal with football club, FCU, UFC, whatever it is, football club 2069, whatever it's called. Do it with that. The biggest games, do it with GTA. Give them a bunch of money. GTA 6 would be like, I mean, it probably won't be on Game Pass, but I'm just saying, Xbox. But put the badge on there. Get that money. Give them that money. Put the badge on there, and make sure that every game commercial that's on television is with the Xbox on it. That's what you have to do, because that's literally what Sony did. And it tricked the public, it tricked the normies into thinking that Sony was the only game in town, basically. It's like, oh, PlayStation, let me get that, because I want to play that game. But when it's Xbox, all you hear is Xbox, all you see is Xbox, you're training them. You're hypnotizing them with the green balls. Yeah, so anyway, ramble. My bad. I appreciate y'all hanging out, y'all. Listen to my dumb ass, like and subscribe. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I'm so tired right now. I appreciate you guys. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about the narrative shifting? Like, do you really? I mean, I saw a tweet by Tim Dog, and I'm like, I might have to block him, because I'm like, anything you say is kind of like just noise at this point, because you got your feelings hurt, and now you just crap Gamer Jr. basically right now. You crap Gamer Jr. You feel betrayed. I don't even know, dude, but I'm like, look, I can't take you seriously. You're sitting here crying about video games. What's wrong with you? Ay. There are definitely more important things in life than video games. Video games help the medicine go down, but I'm just saying, yeah. Man, who Peter Ovo, he's in the same boat too. And he's like, oh, blah, blah, talking about, don't be a console warrior, don't, put all your stuff on one video game. I'm like, okay. It's like, why you giving people advice when that was you? A week ago, that was you. And then everything went down, and then you and Tim went to cry out in the woods in the rain, because when it's raining, no one can see your tears. Anyway, someone forward this video to Peter Ovo so he can jump on me. He'll probably block me on Twitter, maybe. I don't even talk to him or anybody on Twitter. I just read it. I'm like, y'all idiots, y'all knuckleheads. I keep scrolling. Like, I'm not an idiot too, just reading all this stuff. I feel my brain cells leaking out my ear. Like, why am I digging? Anyway, sorry, rambles. once again, preach. Hit me up in the comments. What y'all think about all these craziness, the narratives and stuff, and how long do you think it is before they do what Xbox does? Because it seems, like I said, they're following the trends. They're following what Xbox does. They're just a little bit delayed. How long do you think it's going to be until some of those games are on Switch and some of those games are on Xbox? And I'm talking about older games like Returnal. Returnal could be on Xbox easy. It's a 1080p game. Come on, son. So a game like that, or whatever, Concrete Genie, maybe that'll go on Switch or something. Who knows? But anyway, I appreciate y'all hanging out, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. To the weed.